everybody know what it was like so I had 2 rehabs, halfway house, a mental hospital, which we used to call a sober and up station, and then coming home, being depressed, going to therapy, being in my room for months and months and months, just being sad. What was it like when I went away, when you finally let me go away and not try to save me anymore?
Want me to go first?
Yeah. Fearless Friday.
Yeah, well, I remember one night we were both sobbing, crying our eyes out, and I thought to myself, we can't go on like this. So I decided that I'm going to leave you in God's hands.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I said to your dad, I'm just going to leave her, offer her up to God, and let him handle it. Because we can't do anything. It's out of our hands. So after I did that, I felt so much better.
Mm-hmm. But before that, you
Yes.
weren't letting me go right away.
Oh,
No.
no, that took a long time.
So why don't you tell the story, Mom, about the night that I got arrested? Okay, like not everything, but you know, when you went back to the police department, we won't name the police department because you were disgusted about how I was treated.
Yeah, well, it was basically how we were treated.
Oh, I thought it was me.
No, it was. He
The
called.
parents.
He called to say, this police officer called to say they had you at the police station. Now, before this, we were in Family Anonymous. We were getting a lot of counselling, and we were being taught how to be loving but tough. Tough
Right.
love.
Tough love. Mm-hmm.
And they also supplied us with a book, and it was day by day prayer that you read, and it was very comforting. So we had that help. So by the time we got the phone call, by the time you got arrested,
Mm-hmm.
I was feeling a little more secure in myself, but I knew I had people to lean on. So when the police officer called to say that you were at the police station, and this was about 12 o'clock at night,
Midnight.
they
Mhm.
had just arrested you, and we would come and get you and bring $200.
Mm.
So I said to him, I'll call you back. So I had to call, you know, we had these phone calls, we had
Yeah.
these, you know, so I called this lady that was in Family Anonymous.
Oh, okay. So this is good. So you got phone numbers from people in the
Yeah.
program,
Mm,
just like I have, right? So if I'm having I haven't had a tough time in 25 years, but if I was having a tough time, I could call somebody. So the same thing.
Yeah.
You got phone numbers and you used the tools
Yes.
that you were given.
It was like, yeah, we got phone numbers, and if
Mhm.
we had to make a decision, rather than make it on the spot,
Mm.
talk to the people that we would
So you called somebody at
I called-
midnight?
Well, it was call anytime.
Yeah, no.
Everybody was there for everybody at
I
any
know,
time.
so
It's a
nice.
wonderful organization, Family Anonymous. So I called this lady, and she said, leave her there.
Who was that lady? I'm kidding.
You know
I'm
her.
kidding.
You won't
Do I
name
know
her.
her?
Yeah. Anyway, she said, leave her there. She has to suffer the consequences. If you bail her out, she'll just do it again. And she has to know,
Mm-hmm.
that she has to suffer the consequences, basically.
And I could not believe that they did not bail me out.
Oh, she was furious.
I was disgusted. Me being from
Because
a
you were
residential
spoiled.
area and everything.
But the police officer started yelling at me. You mean to tell me you're leaving your daughter here? I want to end my shift. You want me to go through all this paperwork?
Oh, you wanted to get out of
He
work.
wanted to get out of there.
Mm,
But
interesting.
he was very rude and very obnoxious
Which
and
doesn't help.
condescending.
Yes.
So which made us feel worse. So anyway, I worked at Mercy Hospital, so I was at the hospital the next day, and driving home from the hospital, somehow I was guided to this police station where I got the call from.
So you drove to the police station
I drove
to let
out.
them have a word.
I wanted them to see me.
Right. Good for you.
I wanted them to see the parent
Who you
at
are,
the
yeah.
other end of the phone.
And you all wonder where I get it from. Mm-hmm.
So I went in and I saw this steely-eyed police officer,
Mm-hmm.
very handsome but blue steely-eyed, and he said, "What do you want? How can I help you?" So I said, "I'd like to see somebody in charge," and he said, "Why?" So I told him, I said, "My daughter was arrested last night,"
She's a guest here.
and
She's a guest here.
No, she was bailed out.
I don't think they call it a guest in jail, but yeah. Mhm.
So I said, "I'd like to see whoever's in charge." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because we were treated terrible."
Mhm.
I said, "I'm her mom. I work hard. I work at Mercy Hospital. Her dad works in the city, New York Hospital."
Mhm.
I said, "She had a good education. She was raised well." But I said, "We didn't know this was going to happen to her." So I said to him, "Do you have children?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "How old are they?" He said, 8 and 10. So I said, "Well, when our daughter was 8 and 10, if somebody had said to us, this is how she's going to end up, she's going to end up in a police station," I would have said, "You're crazy," because she was such a good kid. And all my friends who watch this in my family will attest to that.
I was
So it was a
good.
big shock to us.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, "Hold on." So I saw his face change.
Yes.
I said, "If this can happen to my daughter,
Could happen.
it can happen
Anybody.
to your daughters."
Yes.
I
That's
said, "I'd
true.
like to see you in 10 years, and I'd like to know how your daughters are doing."
Mm-hmm.
So he softened.
Mm.
But in the meantime, I'm crying my eyes out. So next, the captain came out, he brought me into this room, and he said to me, "Yes," he said, "I'm so sorry that you were treated so badly over the phone. I always find we need cops to have 2 years education in college." I said, "No, that doesn't, it's nothing to do with college education." I said, "It's all to do with empathy." And I said, "I just wanted you guys to see who's at the other end of the phone. We're not trash. We're good people. We're good, hard-working people. Our daughter just happens to have a problem."
Heard that? Good for you, Mom.
Yeah, so,
Good for you leaving me in jail.
yeah. Now look at you today, Sharon.
Exactly.
I
No,
know.
So Dad will get to talk next.
Yeah? Thank you.
Um,
I would.
When I reiterate that story, and I did just yesterday, because of this woman asking me, she said, what can I do? Where can I go? So I told her a few things to write down, these free programs, you know, recovery programs, Al-Anon and Alantine and Family Anonymous, and there's a whole bunch of help out there that not everybody knows about that I have come to find out. I think we all just assume everybody knows. There's many programs. It doesn't even have to be the recovery group I'm with. There's so much help out there. I told her, I said, you know, there's only one thing you can do, and that's to let her go. And how hard it is because you're the parent, so you want to save them and help them. Did you want to come and get me out of jail, Dad?
Of course, but
My daddy.
like Marie was saying, that you were a very good child. And that's the hardest thing, to realize what is going on. And that's why it's important that, you know, as a parent, when that happens to whoever it is, it's overwhelming, it's very hard to deal with it, because you don't know anything about it. We were never exposed to drugs or anything like that ourselves as growing up in Ireland. And to see it happening to our own child, it's very, very traumatic.
Devastating.
And you had a lot of difficulties yourselves because of the disagreements about me.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we didn't know how to deal with it.
Of
And
course.
that's why I have to say that the biggest help to us, well, I'll speak for myself anyway, and Mum would agree, was going to Family Anonymous, because we realized that I met people there that I used to meet going into work every morning.
Mm.
And I would look, and I saw them at these meetings, because there usually was about 20, maybe 30 people there.
It was a shock.
I would be shocked at the people who were there
Yeah.
that had exactly the same problem. And it made me realize, you know,
We're not the only ones.
we're not the only ones.
We're not alone.
But we needed the education. We needed to know how other people were dealing with it.
Right.
And it was very enlightening to hear that we thought it was devastating to us, was devastating to us.
And you
But-
feel ashamed.
Yes.
and
Oh, there's so
embarrassed.
much shame
Yeah, you
surrounding
feel-
it.
But
Like, it's your fault, it's my fault. This is the arguments. You were too soft, I was too hard. We
but
should have done this, we should have done that.
I've lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
No, but
I'm sorry.
but like I said, seeing these other people and realizing that
You weren't alone.
some of them had a hell of a lot more
Worse.
problems than we had.
Right.
Some of them was more than one child in their
Right.
family,
Mm-hmm.
which was mind-boggling because of what we were dealing with. But that was very educational to me anyway, and I know Marie was the same way, because when we heard some of the stories and what some people were getting involved in and their children were getting involved in and things that were happening to their children, it was just devastating. But at the same time, it was very heartening to realize that you were getting strength from each other because everybody had a chance to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I thought it was very important. Some families were there, you know, like mothers would be there and the fathers would be there, or the fathers were there and the mothers wouldn't be there.
Mm-hmm.
But majority of people, both parents were there, which was great, because as time went on, we saw the single parents
Mm-hmm.
having their spouses come along, because eventually I think everybody just helped each other.
And it wasn't
I
all,
recommend it to anybody, family members.
yeah, and it wasn't all related to drugs and alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
There were people there that had children that they just didn't understand. Like this couple, they were very affluent, and their son decided to go and live in New York City and become homeless. So
Wow.
they couldn't figure this out. Now, he wasn't on drugs.
Right.
He wasn't, but obviously he had some mental issues,
Mhm.
and that's what they were coping with.
Mm-hmm.
you know.
It
One,
is-
excuse me, I have to
Yes.
mention this, one family that we encountered
Mm-hmm.
there were two physicians, two doctors, and they had 3 grown-up sons, 3 in their 30s, and they were all addicted to cocaine.
He worked at Wall Street.
And we thought we had problems. But as I said, they were getting the help from the people in that group. So the combination of everybody's stories helped each other,
Yes.
because everybody had a different way of dealing with these things, and you all learned from one
And
another.
we leaned on each other.
Yes.
And we're
It's
all
great
trying to do
support.
the same thing.
Yeah.
We're all trying to save your children.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody who's having that problem should go to Family Anonymous
So.
in their neighborhood.
Yes. So there's Al-Anon, and there's all different programs for whatever age range you are. I think there were, one woman said to me, I thought it was only for teenagers to go to those programs. You know, there's a lot of misconceptions out there, but believe me, there's plenty of help. And the reason it works so well is the same reason why it works so well in the group that I go to, and many of my friends who will remain anonymous. It's just the identification. You have your people. You know, I make the correlation of when you meet somebody from Ireland, what happens?
Oh, delight.
Right?
What part of Ireland are you from?
And when I meet somebody that smoked crack, I'm delighted. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I'm not, but I am. But recovery people, people that have gone through adversity, people that have suffered through depression, people that have suffered through anxiety, all of this, when you have people around you that really understand where you're coming from and are able to lean on each other and help each other,
Experience.
and there's no, nobody's telling you what to do. They're just suggesting things that worked for them. So,
And comforting you.
and comforting you. And
Yeah.
it's my personal experience of what I decided to move forward and talk about, because it was 25 years, and it was recommended. A lot of people that I know that are in the same recovery group as me didn't think I should mention the name of the recovery group, and there's certain traditions that go along with that, so I respect that. It's not mentioned, the name of it, in the book. I don't care if you pray to this wall or you talk to this wall, you just have to talk to somebody. You have to get some kind of help.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
So then, so that was, I was only 19 then, and then I went away.
To college.
No, to computer school. Computer school.
Is this when you?
That's what you told Sean.
That's right, you
Oh,
do.
yes.
So this is funny. I just found this out. My younger brother had called me after he read the book, and he said, you know, I asked Mom and Dad where you were, and they said, oh, she's away at computer school. I was away there for like 2
That's why you're
years.
so good at computers
I am
today.
exactly why I opened a media company. And then when I suffered, when I was suffering through my depression, because how old was Sean? So Sean was, I was 10 when he was born, so he's 10 years younger than me. He was too young to understand what was happening. There was no real need to tell him.
But he sensed it.
He sensed it. He knew there was something wrong.
Yeah, he knew.
But it was funny when I came home finally, when I was 21,
Mhm.
I was depressed, right? So I stayed in my room in the dark. It's all in the book. And I just didn't, I had no will to live. And Sean would say, you know, what's wrong with Sharon? And they would just talk about how exhausted I was.
Personality had changed.
Yeah, from school. But he told me, he goes, I just thought you were lazy. And that you slept too much. Yeah. I mean, it's funny, like, so that's why, so the communication, it's definitely different, right, today than it was back then. Certainly
Absolutely.
more shame back then,
Oh, yes.
25 years ago, than there is today. It's not as taboo for
Why
somebody
my
to get help.
daughter?
Right,
Yeah.
but it's understandable why it's not the greatest topic to bring up.
Right.
Here
And
you-
that's why you have to be fearless and go get help.
And yes, and you have to be fearless and talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to
Absolutely.
help. So a lot of people have asked about you both, and you've become quite the celebrities, not just for your karaoke singing, Patsy Cline and Elvis Presley right here, but
Would you like to hear some more?
they might sing at the end, who knows? They have been very proud because they want to be like you. They want to be able to have the strength to let go. So offering them the opportunity to get help and Family Anonymous, is there anything else
Great.
that you could think of? I know that Ben helped me, so you went to
Yes.
therapy too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
A lot of counseling.
Yes.
A lot of counseling.
Yeah, a lot of talking about it. I found, like I told you the other day,
Mhm.
that I found when you open up about it, like I worked for a doctor, a cardiologist, and he had a patient that was a doctor and his wife, and she was a stunning, beautiful woman. They're a lovely couple. And she came in one day and she said, "Oh, Marie, you look so sad today." And I said, "No, I'm fine." She said, "Oh no, I can tell something's going on." And I said, "Yeah, well," I said, "we're having some issues with my daughter." And she said, "You too?"
Mm.
So I was stunned. Here's a doctor, his wife. She said he graduated medical school. It's okay to repeat the story, right?
Yeah, of course. As long as you're not saying what name it is.
Oh no, he graduated medical school.
Dr. Shish Kebab, right?
Yeah.
That's,
And they decided when he graduated that he would work just 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Primary care doctor, 9 to 5. Home evenings with his family for dinner, weekends with his family, vacations, everything. This is what they planned. So she said, "It doesn't matter what you plan, what you do." She said, "Our daughter ended up in the South Bronx in a crack house." So she said, "Don't feel bad. It can happen to the best of us." And she said, "I'm going to call my daughter tonight. I'm going to ask her if she can help her daughter in any way." So she called me the next day. She said, "I spoke to my daughter." And she said, "No, she's going to have to get there herself, but all the help she can get."
Right. And interesting that you brought that up because this woman yesterday that was talking to me, she was telling me about one instance that her child had gone to jail, familiar, and she said, I mean, that should have been her bottom. And I said, nobody really ever knows the depths of what somebody's bottom could be.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it wasn't just jail. I went to the beautiful vacation land of Detroit, the coldest place on earth, for 2 whole years. What did you call it? When you referenced where I was, what did you say? when you were
away.
away.
You were in the Bahamas, right?
When she was
Why
away.
wouldn't I pick the Bahamas is what I want to know today. So I want to just say that when I first wrote this book, I wanted to make sure that I was doing my part, right? That's it. I just have to do my part. We have to speak up and we have to help others, because how selfish would it be for us if we didn't give back to others?
And the thing is that everybody needs help.
Everybody.
Everybody in the family
You
needs
too.
help.
You.
Everybody in the family needs help when this is going on.
And pretending it's not happening isn't helping
yeah,
you.
and it
No,
actually helps
you're only
when you
hurting yourself.
speak out
Yes.
and you talk and you listen. And that's why I say
Family
Families
members.
Anonymous is brilliant.
Yes. So my part is to hopefully to remove what your vision might be of what an alcoholic, a drug addict, a former depression sufferer might look like and their family. Well, it looks like us.
That's right.
How do we look?
You don't want to look like us, sure.
You don't want to.
No.
But it must be, I have found, so I will say in front of you and on camera, that I have seen your spirits lifted since the book came out.
Of course.
Why is that? Because it's
Because
helping
we
others?
didn't, well, we didn't talk about it when you come home. We didn't talk about your experiences.
No, and it never came up.
We
That I was
didn't.
gone for 2 years.
Yes, we didn't talk about it. We let you come back
Mm-hmm.
slowly, and that helped.
And family and friends.
And we
that-
were very, very happy.
Sorry, I thought you were finished.
Go ahead.
Can't help myself.
And
No,
family and friends.
We were so happy that to
I
have
was
you
home.
back. We didn't
Right.
care what shape you were in, which
Right.
you weren't in any
I
great
was
shape.
not in good shape.
But we were so happy just to have you around the house.
Right.
And when she did come home, she was like a scared rabbit.
Mhm.
She wouldn't leave her mother's side.
She was attached to my hip.
And that went down for a long time. And we didn't put any pressure on her to do anything.
Mhm.
That
But
it-
little by little, she came back.
Because I was loved back to health.
Well, we were just happy that she was home and she
And
was alive
We
and
did
she
love her
survived.
back. We were
because
so happy to
We
have her home.
figured, we expected
Dead.
at any time to get a call that you weren't coming back.
Yeah.
That's the scary part.
That's frightening.
And that's why people that are in this situation need to talk. They need to
Yes.
talk to friends and family. My friends and our family have a better understanding now
Mhm.
of what this was all about when we were going through it than they did when we were going through it.
Mhm.
So it gives people a better understanding that it can happen to anybody. Don't be ashamed. This is a chemical thing. It's
It's
like
a disease.
diabetes. It's like any
Yes.
disease. And people have to understand that. People just don't go out and decide to become drug addicts and
Alcohol.
alcoholics.
Yes.
It's a process.
But also, the depression is real, and I've had a lot of people, family members even, call and tell me stories about others that are in their lives that they just did not understand, why they didn't want to come out, or why they were so sad. They had so much going for them, and they were professionals, or they were college graduates, whatever it was. Depression is not the same as being sad. Sadness comes with it, but depression it can be very debilitating. So today, to this very day, 25 years later, I don't fear alcohol or drugs or any of that. I fear depression more than I fear anything else. So, and I can point everything in my life that I do today back to how I felt back when I was suffering from depression, because I have a daily reprieve and I have this great life. I wake up in sunny Florida, sitting in a tree room, doing what I want, living a great life, being married, having a wonderful stepson. Why shouldn't I live my best life today and give back whenever I can? So this isn't like something that,
But you gave us our life back.
aww.
Yes.
You did. You gave us our life back. We can live with the freedom of not having to worry about you anymore.
No worries.
No worries.
You're not worried about me anymore, right?
No,
Well,
not in that aspect. I mean, we worry about
your
your
children. You
driving,
always worry
worry-
about your children.
but
But I have to say,
our sons are the same. We'll always worry, your grandchildren, that's there. As a parent, you'll always,
Right.
but as far as the drugs and alcohol
Mhm.
and the depression are concerned, we're free.
Right,
We're free of that.
right,
So you
What-
gave us back.
right.
Well,
That's that.
but I also have to say that a lot of the credit goes to Sharon herself, because ultimately it's that person that saves themselves.
Well, there's a little help from some cranes, and whatever you want to believe that is, if you don't believe in something greater than yourself, if you don't believe that you're a miracle after surviving everything that I went through, then I would just be dumb. It wasn't just me, for sure. I had a team of wonderful people like Cynthia and Ben and
Saint
Mike
Teresa.
Brooks and Saint Teresa and all of my uncles and aunts and my brothers and my extended family in Ireland, and everybody lighting up candles. We've been talking about that a lot. Everybody's asked me about how, what do I really think it was that led me back home or that saved me? And I said, well, I have to say it was probably everybody lighting up candles, because that's all I heard about when I came home. Ah, sure, a little candle for you.
We did
Many,
a no
many
bean.
We did a few, no. Hail Mary. No, but it really, I have a great family, and I've heard from a lot of my family. And listen, alcoholism and addiction and depression and all of that runs rampant through many families. And if you think you're by yourself, you are not. You are not alone.
No.
Help is there.
Help is on the way, dear.
And that is
like
the-
Mrs. Doubtfire.
And that's the biggest thing, I think, too. One of the big things that is important. You have to support
Yes.
the person who's addicted.
Don't shame them.
The addicted.
Yeah.
You don't
You
do
have
it
to
on
support
purpose.
them and love them, and that's what they need.
I have to talk about, I remember lying in bed one day with the clothes over my head,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't want to go anywhere, and I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was just having a pity party, and I was crying, my daughter, what has happened to my daughter, blah, blah, blah. So I got a phone call from a friend of mine, you know her well, and she said, come on, let's go to lunch. I said, no, I can't, I don't want to go anywhere. Get the hell out of that bed. I'll be over for you in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I did. I got up and I
Is
met
that
her.
Auntie Karen?
No, this was
Sorry.
a very good friend. And I did. I got up and I learned things about her that I never knew. And I was friends with her for years.
And didn't know.
But to make me feel better,
Right.
she talked about what
Mhm.
was going on in her life.
So, yes, I purposely do that today now,
Yeah.
even in business. I will tell you that I was at a bunch of places over the last 2 weeks, and I'll say something like, oh, do we have to do that whole business talking thing? Let's talk about how effed up we are as humans. And I wrote a book about mental health. Do you ever have any issues? And people every day are telling me
Yeah.
about what's going on with them or their brothers or
Yeah.
their sisters, or
Yeah.
you're giving somebody a space to feel comfortable to
Talking.
share
Yeah.
and speak about it, and that is the first sign of getting well,
Yeah.
being able to open up.
I mean, there are so many different problems, not just addiction. Everybody has problems, but it's how you deal with them.
Yes, and you just left me in jail to rot. So
She was there for 2 hours.
that's it. For
Yes.
a lifetime. Don't eat bologna. Don't
2
serve
hours.
bologna. It's bad. Do you want to end with a song?
Keep your sunny side up. Up.
Well, that's how we feel. That's how we feel now,
Yes.
and even
Living
more,
a good life.
even more so since we realized that she had the strength to write about it.
Yes.
And that's why that book is so important, not only to us
Mm.
and Sharon,
Her
Mhm.
brothers, her
but
family,
to our family,
friends,
and it's very important.
sister-in-laws.
for people
It's-
out there.
Yeah, we're very proud of her. We love her
Yeah.
very much. We love our sons very much. We love our grandchildren.
My mom could never. That's what's so great about my parents. You can't ever just say it's one. You have to name everybody. That's your phone.
No, it's not. It's your mother's phone.
That's a good way to end.
I thought I turned it off.
I thought I did. That's true Irish though. Like mom would never not include everybody.
I think it's more, it's universal. I don't think a mother would talk about one child and
Of course,
act like they favor one over the other.
but you do love
Like
me more.
you used to say Paul was the golden child.
Right,
Sean
now
used to
I
say. Now I used to say, Paul is the oldest, yes, he's special. You're our daughter, yes, you're special.
The only one.
Sean's the baby, yes, he's special. So
And
you're
they're-
all special.
And
in
they're
your own
all
way.
special.
We're all special.
Sometimes some are more special than others.
No.
No, we're kidding. So it's free on the podcast. I'm not here to sell my book. I don't really care. It's on Amazon, and I think I make $3 from it. I don't care about that. If you need a book, let me know. But you can listen to it for free on the Dr. Whisperer. I will put the link up if you haven't
It's-
heard it.
Well worth the read for the education.
Thanks, Dad. So thanks for tuning in. And if you have questions, we'll answer them later. Just put them in the comments. Bye.
Bye.